It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso right here on SABC 3 now. No surprise, Christmas is just around the corner, and it's about that time that we'll start seeing the festively named Christmas beetle crawling around our gardens. Now, the Christmas beetle appears harmless enough, but they can they, that's the question, can be considered pests. Now, we've invited entomologist Mark Edwards to the studio today to chat about the nature of the Christmas beetles. And if you have any questions, you can always phone us 021 430 9881 if you want to know anything more about the lovely Christmas beetle. And I'm calling it lovely because it's Christmas, Mark. Lovely to have you.
Great to have you, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us. What is their real name, first of all?
Well, their real name would be a scientific name, so I'm sure your viewers are not going to really want to know the name. But the interesting thing about it is people name different beetles Christmas beetles. So I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday afternoon. He said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Christmas beetles." And he said, "Those are those black and yellow ones that eat my roses."
Yeah.
So some people call those Christmas beetles. When I was a kid, these cicadas that you hear this time of the year, people called them Christmas beetles. But the real Christmas beetle is a little brown beetle that flies into your home about this time of the year.
And then irritates you like nothing on earth by flying into windows and walls and seems incapable of fleeing.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between Christmas and this beetle? Why do we associate them with this time of the year?
Well, this is just the time of the year that they breed out and they start flying around looking for places to feed and so on, and looking for places to lay their eggs, obviously, afterwards as well.
All right. Now, are the Christmas beetles a kind of a species on their own, or are there kind of many different species as considered Christmas beetles?
They're a group of beetles that are similar to the scabs, in other words, the dung beetles. They're part of that group, that family. But there are quite a few of them.
Are they part of the ladybug family?
No, they're not ladybugs at all. No.
Just checking, because the ladybugs actually do look festive.
Yeah, these guys are normally sort of brownish in color and a little bit hairy sometimes. They're not not as exciting as ladybugs.
I don't think anyone growing up, you've held one and they like try and burrow into your fingers. They're I think, probably terrified by humans. Yeah. What do they feed on? You mentioned they come out to feed as well before, as part of that mating process. What do they actually eat?
The adult beetles will feed on your roses, for example, on the leaves and so on, other plants and ornamentals and flowers and things in the garden. That's what they feed on, as adults anyway.
So definitely not so festive if they're going to be destroying the rose bushes over this time of the period.
They're so small, man, come on.
Should we be concerned finding them in our homes, in our gardens, or not really?
Absolutely not, no. I mean, my kids hate them because they fly in the house and they're a pain, because they, you try and pick them up and they try, like you said, they're trying to bury into your hand and so on. Just throw them out the door. They're not going to do any harm whatsoever.
How big are they?
No, it's about that size. The biggest ones, you get some in that family that get quite big, but these ones are about that size. They're not
like a centimetre or so.
Yeah.
One of my deepest fears is anything crawling into my ear, and a mate of mine's father once had a Christmas beetle somehow make its way into his ear, which is terrifying to me. But if you've got any questions, we've obviously got Mark here all morning. We want to hear your eco-related questions. And we're talking about the Christmas beetle this morning. You can give us a shout, 021 430 9881, or drop us a comment or a question on Facebook or Twitter.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, that was beautiful. I was blown away by the creative process behind those hand-spring puppets. So thank you so much for giving us the window into that. So right now we are opening a window into the wild, a bit closer to home, our gardens, and in fact our homes, as we broach Christmas beetles. They are part of our South African DNA. I think we've got Mark Edwards, entomologist, here answering questions. We've had a couple come through already. This one coming from Pashmeen in Josie. She says that she once had a friend tell her that she once discovered or found a gold-coloured Christmas beetle. Do they come in a gold, a metallic gold?
Yeah, you get, most of them are brownish in coloured and sort of pretty dull, but you do get very bright ones as well, and it's a very similar. You've got a couple of different sub-families that are very similar, so you get some very brightly coloured ones as well.
That's like iridescence as
well.
Yes. I think you must consider yourself lucky if you find a gold one like that. Absolutely.
Don't keep it. I mean, re-release it into the wild, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Some guys make jewellery out of those things.
Wow. Really? Yeah. My word. Okay, well, we have another caller, Maureen. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Lovely. What's your question?
I'm just so fascinated with Christmas beetles, because that's the only time I know that we're going into the festive season. I've never had any of them flying into my home.
Okay.
But they're in the distance singing away their beautiful tune. And there are certain trees that I know that they only are in.
So would those be Christmas beetles, or maybe?
I think she's referring to cicadas, which are sonbeesties in Afrikaans, the ones that make the noise.
That
Okay,
makes
so
that high pitch kind of screechy sound. Yeah.
yeah, so we're finding fault with your commentary, Maureen. Sorry about that, but they actually, can you believe? And they've got a very interesting life cycle because they stay underground for a very long time. don't they?
Yeah. It depends on the species as well. So in the States, United States, they've got what you call a 17-year cicada. They all stay underground for 17 years, feeding on roots and so on. And then they emerge all in these masses of numbers all at once every 17 years or so. So interesting.
Thank you very much, Maureen. That's very, very interesting indeed. To quickly get back to the Christmas beetles, we speak about them flying into your homes, into your rose bushes.
Yeah.
What is the natural habitat of the Christmas beetle?
Well, that's where they live. They
Is that
live
it?
outside in your garden. They will feed on whatever plants are available, ornamentals, roses, whatever. You'll see them, they'll chew on the leaves and so on.
How do they breed? Obviously, this is their time. That time of the year.
They also breed underground. So in any soil where there's a lot of organic matter, and you know these worms you get in your compost heap?
Yeah.
That's them. Them and similar ones. So that's where they would breed. So compost heaps are a good place for them.
All right. Well, Mark, thank you very much for the insight. Thank you very much for all of your calls. We have one more sit down with Mark coming up, and you can give us a call 021 430 9881. But what I do want to know from Mark is, are Christmas beetles considered pests? Are they pests or are they just there to be managed? I don't know. We'll find out in just a bit.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we take our very last trip into the wild this year with entomologist Mark Edwards, who is a fountain of knowledge when it comes to beetles. And this morning we are discussing the Christmas beetle. So we invited your calls, and we had one very special caller phone in this morning, none other than JP Sebastian's.
I get it now. Yes, I get it.
So JP, I've got to ask you an important question here. Your mom was asking us to ask you. Okay, thanks, Mom.
I need to do praying hands first.
What did you call a Christmas beetle growing up?
Well, look, when you're a kid, like the world is your oyster. You can call them what you like. Forget all the Latin names that this gentleman... Fake news. They're called hordes.
What? Hordes?
When I was a kid, I'd insist. I'd point to this thing, and who knows why a kid calls things what they do. But I would insist, and my mother still to this day would have
Are
to
you
tell
okay,
me.
JP? Hordes.
You've known me for years. You ask me this now.
How many popcorns would you give the Christmas beetle?
To
the
be honest,
horde.
though, let's clear up more fake news. These aren't in fact beetles. These are peanuts. We're not talking about
Very
popcorns here.
intelligent little peanut.
High AI peanuts, but
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Just ignore
10
JP
out
for a
of
second. 10 out of 10. I love it.
popcorns. I love it.
So just to quickly get back to the Christmas beetles, are they considered pests? Should we be worried about them?
No, I wouldn't consider them a pest. Unless you're a serious rose grower or something like that, they're not really a pest. And I hate it when people just see bugs and want to kill them. So
Yeah, man.
if you really want to kill them, get a bucket of water, put a drop of washing up liquid in there and just throw them in there, let them drown. It sounds horrible, but if they're eating your roses and so on, don't go and spray poison. They're actually quite tough. It's quite tough to kill them with poison, so just drown them in a bucket of water.
I suppose you've got to remember they are part of an ecosystem. How long do they live? What is their life cycle?
Well, the adult beetle doesn't live that very long. In fact, most adult insects don't live that long. We have things like mayflies that live literally for 24 hours. So these things will probably live a month or so. They'll mate, they'll lay eggs again in the compost heap or whatever, and then they'll die.
So you picking up that beetle and taking it outside is like a major event in its life. That's like the biggest thing that's ever happened in that beetle's life. So just take cognizance of that.
Someone loved me.
Listen, Mark, thank you very much for joining us. I've got to ask you this, being an entomologist, do you have a favorite out of all the beetle kind of species?
I love a very similar subfamily called they call them more the flower and the fruit scarabs, but I'm actually a big fan of ants.
Ants. The mighty ants.
Mighty ants.
I love that, Mark. You've been an absolute gem this morning. All the best for the festive season. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully we'll connect again with you next year, JP. Thank you. What do we call them?
I'll have a better, more adult word.
Hordes.
Hordes.
Hordes. So thanks for our discussion this morning on Hordes, the official name. It has been awesome connecting with you as well. Thank you so much for all of your comments and questions throughout the year. It's been a joy taking you into the wild.
Hordes.